Well, tomorrow at their vegan cookouts or die-ins or whatever else the left does on July 4th rather than celebrate America, activists will be asking one another the single most important question of the moment. Are you woke? If so, how woke are you? They're not asking about your level of alertness, at least doesn't seem that way. There's something more going on. Stay woke is the new watchword across the progressive left. What does it mean? We have questions like this. There's one person we go to, Cathy Aru, founding publisher of Catalina Magazine and our liberal Sherpa. She joins us tonight. Cathy, What is woke? And are you woke?
I'm woke. You're woke. Yeah, we know what's happening. We are not distracted. We know what is important with what's happening today. So we are aware. We are enlightened. We are woke. We are not busy with things that don't matter. We know what matters. We know what's going to happen. We know what the future is important, what it's about. So we're woke. We have to stay woke.
We're both woke. You and I are both woke.
I think you're woke.
Who's the woker of the two, would you say? You or me?
Well, of course you. It's your show. You are the woker. You're the wokest.
Really? Because I think of myself as more like comatose, the opposite of woke.
No, you're
kind
the wokest.
Like
the wokest.
Sedated. Yeah. Okay, the wokest.
No, I would never
but
say
I
that
thought
about
there
you.
was a political connotation to wokeness.
Well, yeah, I mean...
And you had to kind of be on the progressive left to be fully woke.
Well, it's almost as if, let's just say, give an example, when people are talking about the wall and building a wall with Mexico, and perhaps the left would say the wall is not that important because immigration was a real problem in 2007. You're not woke. Stay woke. That's so 2007. Are you asleep? Stay woke.
Okay, so the woke position would be build the wall, make America great again. That's the woke.
No, that's a distraction. The wall is not needed. Immigration was a much bigger problem in 2007. It is not a big problem today. So that is a distraction. No, the conditions that people are living under in the United States and the detention centers, that's a real problem. So stay woke, stay focused. Keep thinking about what really matters, not on these things that don't matter. Who decides?
Right. Who decides, though? Because there are some subjective elements to this scheme you're describing. I mean, somebody's going to have to decide what's woke and what's not. Is there a woke council?
A woke council would be reality. Reality decides. So if you think...
Reality decides. It's settled science. Okay.
Right. On the street corner, if there's a nice policeman giving a lollipop and everyone says, all policemen are so sweet, someone from the Black Lives Matter movement might say, but there have been issues with the police. Stay woke. So
what if you had a child, what if you had a child who didn't, for example, hate the police enough or wasn't enthusiastic enough about illegal immigration? Your kid was not woke. What would you do with an unwoke child?
Well, children should keep their adolescence and childhood and happiness for as long as possible. But if they read Alice in Wonderland, they would be exposed to this concept of don't fall asleep, don't fall down that rabbit hole, stay focused, be woke. That's where it came from, really. The 1800s was the concept of don't be asleep, don't accept that ignorance is bliss. Face the facts,
so the
face
Victorians,
reality.
You're saying, were highly woke.
They almost created the term. They almost created this term to be woke. Yeah, and then came in the 90s.
It's so funny because when you think of the Victorian era, you think really more of sexual repression and ankle-length dresses.
Sleepers and
you don't really think of Black Lives Matter.
Well, luckily, a lot was learned from that era, so we don't have chimney sweepers today because people were able to get woke and change, and that's how things happened. People woke up.
Do you think, and just this is slightly off topic, but it's related, is there a kind of dreamlike LSD-infused quality to modern progressivism, or is that just my imagination?
Well, this whole concept is to stay woke, is to not fall asleep at the wheel, is to not be in la-la land. So to not distract, as maybe a President Trump would distract with a wall, you're telling people, stay woke. That's not the issue.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow. It's the sound of one hand clapping. You can sleep while woke. It's amazing. Cathy, thank you.
You're welcome. Stay woke.
No 4th of July barbecue is complete without an extra helping of the Liberal Sherpa. Don't miss tomorrow's special Liberal Sherpa edition of this program, a full hour, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. They are aware of this, and some applaud it. A piece yesterday in Splinter News, which is owned by Univision, explained that intimidating Trump supporters in public places is, quote, just the minimum baseline here. This is all going to get more extreme, and it should, end quote. How extreme? Well, the article fondly recalls the domestic terror bombings of the 1970s. Thousands a year in America. That's our future, the article says. Unfortunately, we're headed there fast. Over the weekend in Los Angeles, Congresswoman Maxine Waters urged the mob to hunt down and find members of the president's cabinet. Here's part of it.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Already, you have members of your cabinet that are being booed out of restaurants, who have protesters taking up at their house, who's saying no peace, no sleep. No peace, no sleep. Let's stay the course. Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Maxine Waters isn't just any member of Congress. The Daily Beast calls her, quote, a folk hero. BuzzFeed describes her as the unchallenged new face of the Democratic Party. And indeed she is. She's also a self-described civil rights leader, which makes it a little weird to see her demanding that certain people be denied public accommodations. Sorry, we don't serve your kind at the lunch counter. That's exactly what she is saying. And she said it again yesterday.
I stand by my speech in saying that the protests have already started. They're probably going to continue.
The message of all this is clear. The left no longer considers its political opponents fellow citizens or even human. How long before they start openly calling for something bad to happen to those opponents? Well, in the case of Maxine Waters, it won't be the first time. In 1992, Waters cheered as racist mobs burned Los Angeles. As she put it at the time, riot is the voice of the unheard. When Reginald Denny was dragged from his truck and nearly murdered for the color of his skin, beaten in the head with a cinder block on camera, Waters championed his attackers. She partied with them after their trial. Maxine Waters has a record of endorsing mob violence. Everyone in Washington knows that. Democrats don't care. To his credit, Chuck Schumer did call Waters' most recent remarks, quote, not American. Good for him. But hardly anyone else said anything. Nancy Pelosi blamed Donald Trump for what Waters said. That was a theme. Stop hitting me, they said as they threw the first punch.
I feel that we are in pre-Nazi Germany. The stages of things that are occurring on a daily basis, the obfuscation, the lies, the totalitarian behavior is shocking and horrendous. And we have to be vigilant.
They follow the exact pattern that Hitler has. He is evil. He is evil. And the thing is, I thought, I'll come in and he won't really know because he's not that smart. He doesn't, he'll just do a showmanship thing. But he's evil.
This is about racism. This is pure and simple racism. That's all this is. The people who support him are frightened to death of this country becoming the Browning of America.
Something interesting has happened. As progressives become more authoritarian and less tolerant, they seem more convinced that they're fighting actual Nazis rather than their fellow Americans with whom, in the scheme of things, they have only relatively mild political differences. The more they accuse the administration of extremism, the more extreme they become. And that's not surprising, because once you decide that the people who disagree with you are Nazis, everything is allowed. Why wouldn't you threaten them in restaurants or burn their houses down, or who knows? This could very well end in tragedy. You start talking like this and you don't know where it's going to go. Some progressives seem to welcome all that. Quentin James, who's the head of a political action committee that supports Democrats, recently announced that those calling for calm are, quote, accomplices of the current administration. Accomplices? This is the language of total war. It's scary. It has no place in politics. We're heading towards something awful. And the only people who can stop it are the adults on the left. And there are still some. Democratic members of Congress, entertainment figures, religious leaders, media chieftains like Jeff Zucker at CNN or Andy Lack at NBC. They're silent now, cowering and complicit in all of this, but the country badly needs them to cool the rhetoric and rein in the mob. No more Nazi talk on their TV channels. No more screaming at people in restaurants. There's a point of no return, and we are approaching it, and we need their help.